My name is Ken Little. I am an artist. I work here in San Antonio, sculptor specifically, and work in a lot of different materials. I also teach sculpture at the University of Texas at San Antonio, and I've been here since 1988. So I really thought I wanted to be an artist, but I really didn't know what they were because there weren't many of them in Amarillo or in Texas for that matter. My exposure as a child to art was like Walt Disney on television and, you know, cowboy art and people that drew windmills and old leather saddles and things like that, sort of Western type stuff. I have a tendency to work in cycles, so I'll work on, say, bronzes for 6 months, and then I'll decide, well, I'll let that rest for a while, and I'll work on money pieces for 6 months. And each one of them has a real different feel and a real different response to it. For instance, the shoe pieces are very quick and emotional. They happen very fast. It's like jazz. It just happens and it's improvisational. Whereas the bronzes are like these orchestrated symphonies that need a huge structure. I'm serious about having fun. I was a real serious kid. All the pictures of me as a kid, I was not smiling. I was a very serious kid. So I'm sort of growing in reverse. I'm starting to have more fun than I had when I was a kid because I really enjoy the humorous and the fun aspect of what it does. Although it dwells, you know, pretty close, for instance, in these taxidermied animals, they're sort of fun and sort of crazy and zany, but they're also kind of grotesque. I felt they were really scary. They were grotesque. It was taking this animal skin and sort of stitching it back together and making a kind of a Frankenstein deer, you know. But everybody that saw them just sort of went, hey, laughed and said, what a great thing, you know. So it took me a long time to accept that they also trigger humorous response. And the dollar bill to me is a really interesting thing. The dollar bill, when you think about it, is an artwork. It's a print. And it's a unique print because each one has a serial number on it. So each one is different from the other. It's, in a sense, worthless because it's a piece of paper. It's with a picture on it, you know, and a number. And yet there's about 7 trillion of them in the world in circulation. And in a sense, it's also the basic building block of the capitalist system. There's no, you know, it's just all about sort of the material shell. It's like a suit of armor in a sense. It's like the outside shell of the material world. Probably the thing that I enjoy most about working is inventing things. And so that's why I work in a broad number of things. It gives me lots and lots to play with and lots of territory. From up here, you'll be able to tell it's in the shape of the continental United States, so that's the idea. The piece, Homeland Security, that I'm doing that will be included in the Texas Biennial in Austin, actually was first done as a commission in Austria. I was one of 9 artists, the only American invited to Austria by a place called the Griffner House, who makes high-end European prefab housing. And they invite artists there to build pieces out of the materials that they use there in the factory. And so I went over there and worked for 6 weeks and built this piece over there. And it was right about when all the immigration stuff was going on. They were trying to figure out if we were going to build a fence along the border and trying to figure out, you know, how we're not going to get any more immigrants into this country as if we weren't all immigrants ourselves. And so I decided that I wanted to build a picket fence in the shape of the continental United States, that is the 48 continental United States, the contiguous states, and build it so that there were no gates, no way in and no way out. It would just be a fence in the shape of the United States. Both as a symbol of what people wanted in terms of some kind of security at the border, but what is impossible really at the border. It's just an almost impossible thing to fence off the United States. I really like the idea that it was this simple garden fence. It's about 32 inches tall. It's a little picket fence. You could actually step over it if you tried.
Yes, it's America.
So I really wanted to do it in the United States, and I wanted to do it in Texas, either out in West Texas, you know, where they're actually trying to build a fence, you know, or in Austin, which is the state capital, and where, you know, those kind of issues are dealt with. I try to start not with a declarative statement, but with a question. And usually when my work is finished in the end, I want it to put me in a place that I couldn't have imagined that I could be.
It's so simple in America.
There certainly has been a lot of talk about this plant lately, but why? Why is marijuana such a hot-button issue? And why are the opinions about marijuana so scattered? With medical marijuana being such a popular issue in the media these days, I thought I'd look into what the fuss is all about. I started with talking to some folks in Georgetown and Round Rock to see what they think about all this.
For medicinal purposes, should be allowed and recognized by the government because it's proven through scientific studies that it is effective in treating a lot of ailments that conventional medications cannot treat.
Well, if it is a medical reason and they're using it, well then I guess I don't have a problem with it. Where I guess I would have a problem with it is if they're using marijuana and then they're getting out on the streets and driving and what have you, and then affecting people, maybe having wrecks and what have you. It'd be the same way as driving under the influence. I'd have a problem with that. But if they're doing it recreationally in their own home and they're not hurting anybody and they're not getting behind the wheel of a car, well then I guess I really wouldn't have a problem with it.
The medical marijuana, the jury's still out on that one. Could leave a lot of room for abuse.
I think if there is a medical benefit, you know, just like any drug that you have to have a prescription for, if you have a prescription, I guess that's good. I don't think it should be legal for anybody to have it just because it will, you know, hinder you driving and it's a danger to other people.
I don't have a problem with anybody doing their drugs in their house or whatever, as long as they don't do it outside and kill someone driving.
Decriminalizing it for specific purposes, medical use is, I believe that is just fine. I know that people sometimes need alternatives to regularly prescribed drugs, and I don't see a problem with that. I think there needs to be regulation as far as its use outside of the medical realm.
As far as the medical uses of it, I'm all for it.
There are cases where people will go and say, well, I'm stressed out. Okay, you can get marijuana. Mm-hmm. And so then it's a game being played, and it's a scam on American society, and that's, I don't think that it's any value in it.
I'd have to read up more on it, you know, get a little more information myself, but I think a lot of people do get it that shouldn't be getting it.
13 states since 1996 have passed medical marijuana laws. These laws, however, do not protect patients or doctors from prosecution from the federal government. And the DEA raids of medical marijuana dispensaries have been well publicized. I want to talk to some experts about this.
It's totally unacceptable. The states that have legalized medicinal marijuana, the federal government comes in and arrests them anyway. Sometimes the people are sick. Sometimes they're using it for helping them when they're getting chemotherapy or they have AIDS, and it's helpful to them. And the state overrules. They shouldn't overrule. Marijuana, for instance, had been legal in this country most of our history. And now the states are just fighting back and saying, look, we should have the authority to say this. So in a way, it's bringing back the issue of how much authority the states have. And is there such a thing as states' rights? There's really not much left of the whole issue of states' rights. But since they capitulate and go along with the federal government doing so much, when it comes down to this one issue, the precedents were so well set that the federal government rules with an iron fist.
Keep your frame clean. Now you wear your skin like iron. One of the good things I think about electing our president is that he's promised before he was elected that when he got in there, he would make the federal government stay out of the state business and let the states handle their own drug situation. And I think that would solve the problem if he would do that. So we're waiting.
And what about that? President Obama recently invited the nation to participate in an internet town hall meeting. People could write their questions on the White House website, and other folks could vote on which questions they wanted the president to answer. Overwhelmingly, the questions with the most votes were about some form of legalizing marijuana. The president, however, didn't give the response millions wanted to hear. So we talked to Josh Schimberg of Texas NORML. NORML is the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws, and Josh is the Texas Executive Director.
With the marijuana arrests reaching an all-time high in 2007, it was over 870,000 people in the United States that were arrested for marijuana offenses. Texas, on an average over the past several years, is anywhere from 50 to just over 70,000 arrests, marijuana-related arrests, and about 90% of all of those arrests are for possession only.
There's big money in prisons. You know, you pass a law where you can arrest everybody and then build prisons for them, and the prison systems are doing well.
Yeah, privatization of the prisons, you know. Yeah. If you got a prison, you got to have prisoners.
I think Texas is, if you look at all the people in the prisons in Texas, I think it's first or second, if it were a country, in the whole world. And it's related one way or the other to drugs. Some of the people are involved in violence with drugs, but only because drugs are illegal.
There's so much vested interest in the propaganda that's been going since the 20s and 30s about marijuana.
There's been so much propaganda that's been put out by the federal governments, by state governments. It started in the early 1900s, and it got even worse in the 1960s and 70s with the Nixon administration. He commissioned a study on it, and the commission came back and told Nixon that there was no legitimate reason to have marijuana criminalized, and 2 weeks later, Nixon declared all-out war on marijuana and all the other drugs.
While awaiting the results of the Schaefer report, marijuana was to be temporarily listed as a Schedule I substance, putting it in the same category as heroin, LSD, and Quaaludes. When the results of the Schaefer report did come out, he titled it Marijuana, a Signal of Misunderstanding. Schaefer made many recommendations in this report, one of which said, quote, "Neither the marijuana user nor the drug itself can be said to constitute a danger to public safety." Another suggestion was, marijuana's relative potential for harm to the vast majority of individual users and its actual impact on society does not justify a social policy designed to seek out and firmly punish those who use it. In a recorded conversation President Nixon has with his friend and entertainer Art Linklater, the two compare alcohol to marijuana, in which Art Linklater says, "A person sits down with a marijuana cigarette to get high." President Nixon replies, "A person doesn't drink to get drunk, a person drinks to have fun."
The, quote, war on drugs was a bad war, and it's been a failure, and they should stop the madness, you know.
The federal war on drugs and the prison system, the expenses involved, we spent hundreds of billions of dollars. Not only is it harmful to those people who might benefit by taking something like marijuana when they're very sick, it's very, very expensive and clutters our courts, causes so much more crime. So with our government now in bankruptcy, this would be a good time to think about saving tens of billions of dollars by not pursuing this war that has not worked.
This is over a weed, and not only that, it's medicine to a lot of people. And they saw how well prohibition of alcohol worked, and this is what's happening with marijuana right now. So it seems a bit insane.
Yeah, but you know, there could be a blessing in disguise on the economy problem that we're having, because they might start thinking realistically about growing cannabis and growing hemp.
And hemp, yeah.
And tax it, regulate it like you do cigarettes and tobacco. That's going to happen. I don't know whether it's today or 100 years from now, but it's going to happen.
On April 2nd, Ron Paul introduced to the House of Representatives the Industrial Hemp Farming Act of 2009, which would give states the rights to grow hemp legally if they chose to.
I just think people should be allowed to do the things they want to do if they don't hurt other people. And if they risk their own health, that's their business. Some people still smoke cigarettes, you know, and that's very dangerous. A lot of people still drink alcohol, including most members of Congress who get hysterical over the fact that somebody in California might be using marijuana. I mean, it's such a hypocrisy.
Literally an estimated almost 100 million Americans who have tried marijuana at least one time in their life. And to say that all of these people are criminals, which include the last 3 presidents of the United States.
Politicians are basically afraid because if they say it, then their opponents will say that they're promoting drug use. We're not promoting drug use. We're saying that it should be available to those who need it, and people shouldn't go to jail.
Texas has 2 bills in the current legislative session that deal with marijuana: House Bill 902 and House Bill 164. House Bill 902 would lower the penalty for possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana to no jail time and a max fine of $500. And House Bill 164 would essentially legalize medical marijuana in the state of Texas by protecting patients with a doctor's prescription for marijuana and protecting doctors who write these prescriptions from prosecution. If this is an issue you feel strongly about, it is very easy to contact your representative and let them know if you are for or against these bills.
I just encourage anybody that cares about this issue to talk to people about it. You know, don't be afraid to talk about it. That's part of the reason why we're still stuck in this never-ending cycle, because there's always been the fear in the public of being locked up because Nixon declared all-out war on drugs and said, you do them, you're going to go to jail. People get scared about that, but the fact of the matter is, if you're scared and you don't speak up, then you're just going to keep getting trampled on, and your civil rights will continue to be taken away. So, I mean, talk to your family members, talk to your friends, get people motivated, and at least contact your legislators and let them know what you think about it, because that's the way that things are going to get changed in Texas.
You remember Docubloggers?
Doctor who? Dr. Blogger? Dr. Blogger?
Docubloggers.
I knew. I went to him for hemorrhoids. Yeah, that was Dr. Blogger.
Hey.
You're Willie Nelson.
I'm one of them, and he's the other one.
And we're looking at you, Docubloggers.
All y'all Docubloggers out there.
Is that like cloggers?
You talking to me?
This is my first time doing the Great Urban Race.
What is the Great Urban Race? It's a race that has physical challenges and like puzzles. You have to solve puzzles to figure out the clues, and then you have to go there and take pictures of all the clues. A scavenger hunt with riddles.
Well, and what is the name of your team?
Hopelessly Lost.
Hopelessly Lost. Do you think you're gonna win?
No.
We're gonna bring this sucker home! But nicely. Nicely, of course.
Did one race in Chicago and it went well, and then we launched the whole 8-city tour in the fall of 2007. And last year we did a 20-city tour throughout the country, and we gave away our first $10,000 prize. So this year, 21 cities, national championship in New Orleans, and things are going well this year.
Use whatever you want to figure out the riddles. You can call a friend, you can use your internet connection, you can scream for help on the side of the street, whatever you want to do to get the answers to the riddles. You find the answer to the riddle, and then you go take a picture of yourself next to it.
Come on, work it out.
You're a wash tub.
A tub, and this is a... Okay, now say them quick together.
B-tub.
The other way, the other way.
Tubby.
Tubby.
Tubby. Tubby.
Is that the name of the team?
Tubby.
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 All right.
We've always talked about doing one of these races. There's a group of us that do a lot of like the little 5Ks and that kind of stuff. So we just thought this would be fun, and then this was the first one we signed up for. We had a blast. There was 4 of us actually that did it.
We just had a really good time, so, and we like to be silly, so we thought we'd do it.
We are predicting
63rd. We had a little bit of an argument about it. The B, Angie thought we were going to come in 65th, but I'm pretty sure we're going to do at least 2 better than that, and we're going to come in 65th.
So if you didn't have the tub, what place would you come in?
If I didn't have the tub, oh my goodness, we would probably come in first or second if we didn't have this tub on.
Watch it, Drew.
Are you a backwards walker? Are you practiced? I'm a professional backwards walker. It's the yellow sheet. We can't lose this. It's our life.
Okay, give it to me because I'm trying to solve the puzzle.
I gotta go.
This is gonna be the best Docubloggers ever, I swear to God.
And number one, I don't know how you're gonna keep up with us because we're pretty fast. Is that thing really portable?
Last year we were moving. Ah, that would be awesome. I was the ghost last year. There's water. We're going to picture of water on the other side of the street. Sweet. Okay, I gotta go. Can you see if you can rack your brain on that one for me? Lazy Crow Kid, love you. Who are you talking to? Bye. My husband.
All right, I guess you can tell him that.
I'd be smarter than that to say I love you to my boyfriend on the phone when there's a camera. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
We really just do this for fun. I mean, we are not out to win by any means, obviously, you know, with our high standing in the last race. But we're just gonna be having a good time and laughing, and we're just gonna have the best time that we can and do the best that we can.
Oh, thank you so much.
Here you go, you're all set.
What do we get out of the store?
We got vegetables, fruit, and meat.
Okay.
But no Bounty candy bar. Have you guys ever heard of a Bounty candy bar before?
Because they only sell the she fancy stuff.
Really? Never heard of such a thing.
You're going to see panic, sheer panic in the beginning.
As we try to figure out the clues, and everybody else pretty much is dashing off, and we're sitting there going, how are we getting their answers?
Well, back in there. Should we cross here? Everybody's over there. What are we doing?
No. Stephen and Boston is on this side of the highway.
A lot of it is knowing your way around. Oh, I know, that's the Cesar Chavez statue on the UT campus, and you would go there. But if we were in Las Vegas or where are the other places? Boston, I think we're in Boston. I might be able to muddle through there. But yeah, it would be a lot harder.
So if we get to the Alumni Center? The University Co-op's right on the drag. I don't think there's a cow in front of that, though.
Oh, I don't know. We're from Fort Hood. We haven't the slightest clue.
Let me get it through.
Angie, I love that your wings stick out of the life vest. It's good. It is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is way. Look at that bee. I mean, really, how many bees know how to row a boat?
This is not the fun part.
We don't know how to stop.
Now, did I hear this correctly? We're in second place right now.
Well, I'm afraid we had to slip into third, having to drag you across the lake.
Yeah.
Woo! Are we first? Are we first team back?
Good job.
We didn't win.
You didn't win? Yeah, it was good work though.
We went
nice.
First. How was it?
It was okay.
Did you win?
Yes.
First place?
We got team in first, yes.
Wow. How? They lost the sheet.
That's what it's looking like. Oh my goodness.
We don't have our sheets, so we can't prove that we did the cans and the cans. You know,
we have it on video.
Oh yeah, it's on video. It is. It's on video.
That is true. I do have every step of the way.
It's on video. He does. Can we use that?
I like doing the race because it's fun. It's different. And the people are really just there to have a good time. Even the people who are serious about it and are running the entire time, they're really just laid back and they're having fun and they're friendly, and it's not like they're not going to shove you down to, you know, get something first. It's laid back. It's Austin to me. It's really just fun.
All right, so how was it this year as opposed to last year?
It was hot.
But it was easier to move around with this costume on than the ghost.
And the clothes were easier, but I think he traveled farther.
I think we did travel further, a lot further.
So if there's a lesson that you've learned today that will change your life forever,
Follow the green team.
Make sure the yellow sheet is in a thing around our necks.
Where is the yellow sheet? Drew, do you have the yellow sheet?